everybody, this is Frogman, and welcome back to Levitated. I have been rather busy in between episodes doing a few things just so that we can get caught up on some stuff, and I figured we needed to talk about it. With the last episode, we did a little bit of, I believe we did a little bit of work with that had this stuff right here, deep mob learning, and got a few things going with that to the point that I've actually managed to get a couple of things that I really want to talk about. First off, we have 27 corrupted glitch hearts. That took a lot of work. That took a lot of fights, and that took a lot of things. So we'll deal with those as we continue on down through the rest of the system. I also managed to get a few things that are rather interesting, like this pristine witch matter. Let's kick our learner open. We have an Enderman data model that is now at self-aware, and we also have a witch data model that is also at self-aware. Now, where did I get the witch, you say? Well, witches will eventually spawn in a normal any battle for these matters. Actually, once you hit over, I think it's the once you get over like the second or third tier of the models, then you'll start to get excess things spawn. So like you guys saw when we did one of the Enderman's battles last time, we ended up with a little baby zombie that is called a loot hoarder. And a loot hoarder, well, you can't unfortunately program one of the data models to a loot hoarder, but you can program them to various other things. So let's go over here and take a look. There's a bunch of stuff we're going to have to look at, but we're going to go over here first to the little area so that you guys are kind of well aware that this can happen. So like on this one, it says affixes knockback immunity, speed, and empowered glitches. So if we put that one down, that means anything I hit is going to have knockback immunity like speed 1 or 2, and we will get empowered glitches. Now, occasionally you'll see a loot hoarder or witch invasion or something like that. If you look at the one down on the bottom that's kind of rather sad, is the blaze invader affix has been disabled. That would have been an easy way to get blaze rods and blazes early on in game. But because of the fact that that happens, if you manage to, while you're thinking of murdering all the little endermans and things that are wandering around in here, and you get one of those witches to spawn, you come over here and you happen to grab a key, like I have this chest here. I have used at least a stack of diamonds through this thing just because it's been fun and I've been getting a lot of experience. But if you happen to have a key that has not been set specifically or attuned, and that thing spawns, so like there's an occasional ability for a charged creeper to spawn. If you really want to kill charged creepers, you can. That witch is a very important thing, because a witch will get you several things that you can use very early on before you even get to go to the Nether. If you grab one of those keys and then you kill that witch while you happen to have you have one of those keys that are not attuned, then you will attune it to the witch, which means then you can go craft one of the data models, which a data module I think is only just witch. Speaking of which, a witch data model is only a blank data model and a glass bottle, which is something that's pretty simple, easy to do. Well, as soon as you do that, then you have a key that's attuned that you can then start fighting witches. And in 2 cycles, you should have killed enough witches to be able to actually put it into a simulation machine and start running it if you want to run it in a simulation machine. Problem with simulations at this point is I've run a couple of times, just a couple. We're kind of short on power. We don't have much for power generation. I went and actually made a 4th one of those, because those are making about 35 RF a tick, so it's just enough to kind of keep some batteries charged at this point. So, but yeah, definitely a way of getting certain things. After a point, you start getting pristine matter. Pristine matters from the Endermans, pristine matters from the witches. Pristine matter with a witch is going to get you glowstone. So I've been making glowstone, making lots of glowstone. I mean, not like massive amounts of glowstone, but enough that I can actually start doing things. And if you happen to run the witch simulation model in one of these little guys, or that data model in one of these, once they hit self-aware, you're gonna always get an overworldian matter, which overworldian matter, where is it? Right here. If you guys don't know this mod, you can start making all kinds of things. So spider eyes, arrows, bones, if a little piece of bone meal, and a couple other things. So we can't quite get to rotten flesh yet. We can't quite get to some of this other stuff, and we have other massive means of getting these. But like right there, when we hit that point, I mean, I still need a piece of nether quartz, and yes, that one dude was very, very, very lucky. The other thing about that is once you do get a witch, you can take this stuff, and if I hit this on here, I can duplicate it with that conjuration catalyst. So that conjuration catalyst, especially in a kind of a pack like this where you're gated behind a lot of things, once certain things show up, you really want to start using this and my janky little system over here. That you want to be using both of those things because they're both going to be very, 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 very helpful for you. So I have been really busy. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about what we've been doing, and then hopefully get to a part that we can actually do a few things. I did go ahead again, made a simulation chamber just so I could get a few more of those overworldian matters so that we could make a few things. I have been using my loot fabricator to kind of just clean up on some of this stuff because that's how you get the various things that go with it. Like this is remove autocraft kind of thing, whatever. That was the Enderman trying to get me some more of the end iron or whatever it was. I've been doing other, just basically just crafting things, running things. We now have an Ender IO based power system, which is going to be a lot better to work with, at least on my brain. And these guys, these capacitors hold a considerable amount more than what these do. These batteries, the energy batteries with integrated dynamics, you craft them recursively or however you want it to nest them. So when you want to make the next tier of battery, basically what you do is you craft this battery with another battery with another battery with another battery with another battery until you get the top tier battery, which holds 25 million RF. I think this one holds 2 million RF at this point. So these are just light duty baby ones. They don't have anything special because of the fact we've been doing this little project over here. I now have 5 compressed infinity dust blocks plus the one down there, and I've been stealing things from it. So it's off right now. We don't need it to be producing anything. So let's talk about the mess that I have done with Botania. And this is kind of one of those I've really needed to get some jankiness going. And this is all going away very soon. I'm making a promise right now. This is all going to get organized and going away very soon. So let's start with the basic Botania thing that I have discovered. And the basic Botania thing that I have discovered is that one coke oven right here burning wood logs will make enough charcoal to cover 2 of the endo flames. So we have 2 coke ovens, which I went ahead and ground out and made sure everything was functional. And between the 2 of them, 3 hopping bonsai plants with the wormwood logs is more than sufficient to stay ahead of the process of these, or ahead of the how much they can make. So if I want to do another set of endo flames, I'm going to have to make another one of these and possibly another set of these. It's just functional. It's working. I just needed a way to continuously produce something without having to go out and harvest coal all the time. So we should be on a slightly, I know it's kind of 215, it's barely more, just like barely more on burn time. So if I ran one more of these, maybe we'd be even. I don't know exactly, but for right now, that's how we're doing things. I did go ahead just to get some extra mana so we can do a few other things and craft a couple of Gormalaeus. We will talk about this setup later on. There's a very easy way to automate these things, and I need to actually probably do something like that so that you're over there. And they're basically, the problem with a Gormalaeus is a Gormalaeus has to, it eats food, and it produces mana based on how it eats food. And how much I don't think it's how much the saturation is. I think it's actually the ham hock parts of it. So like those or that for that matter, those 2 are very comparable to each other, so they give you a reasonable decent mana for the process. Because we don't have Pams, these are really just going to be kind of whatever flowers. Anytime you have Pam's harvest craft or something like that in a mod pack that allows you to produce better foods, you definitely start using these because you can really make a lot of mana with Gormalaeus, and they're pretty simple, easy to automate as far as this goes. I'm actually kind of using a Botania method, which is an animated torch and a hovering hourglass. Basically what the animated torch does is it takes a signal from the hovering hourglass and it flip-flops. It flip-flaps back and forth based on what that thing says, and I believe I have like 5 pieces of sand in that hovering hourglass at this point in time to toggle back and forth. And because we're using really low-end foods, which is namely the chorus fruit and these potatoes, they're not awesome, but they're doing what they need to do. So these I just made a couple because we just kind of needed a little bit more mana production. Okay, on to the other silliness as I was testing a few things, and I wanted to see just exactly which way was going to be the easiest way to do a little bit of auto farming for the moment. And I think I'm going to be getting rid of the wheat here very shortly and replacing those with carrots. All of this is probably going to get replaced with carrots. I'm using mechanical users just for fun, just for funsies right now to just see what's going on. And because of the fact that we have the right click to harvest function, you can kind of use an agri-carnation or more agri-carnations. We've already used, we've been using that one for a little while, just kind of help this area grow. I can put a few more down and actually make these grow a little faster if I want to, but it's not great. It's functional. It would keep me alive as a player, but it's not enough to keep that thing functioning. So we're going to have to work on getting a little bit better with that. We do now have a mana battery started, so that means I'm using the spark system to push mana around. There is a, and you guys have seen this before if you watch the Ultimate Alchemy series, there's a recessive spark augment on this one, which basically what that does is it takes all of the mana out of this pool and pushes it to all of the rest of the spark connected pools. And on the pools that we need to be able to keep a decent amount of mana in, like these three, we have a dominant spark, augment on it. So let's look at these real quick before I forget about it. Spark, all blah, 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 blah. Let's see, dominant, dispersive, dominance of runes of fire. Basically, you just attach this to the spark, and what a dominant does is it just draws mana from the main storage battery to the pool that it's sitting over, and again, the recessives automatically push it away from it. Now, the dispersive, I believe, will try to push stuff out of a pool that's already set up, and I think dispersive is the one that hooks with the player. I'm gonna have to look at that up. I think the dispersive are the ones that interacts with the rings of mana, bands of mana that might be in the player's inventory, or any mana tablets for that matter. And an isolated means that you can't touch any of the pools that it's attached to. So far as that goes, blah 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 blah. I had to do all that because we need to start thinking about getting towards the end of this chapter. And for whatever reason, I keep hearing a mad Enderman, and I don't know why. Maybe I need to turn up my volume just a little bit. Volume. Blocks can go down. Turn that up a little. Maybe it's just that. I don't know. I swear I was standing there listening to Enderman make all kinds of noise. So that is one of the things I have been doing. Yep, there he is. I knew he was around somewhere. I just couldn't figure out where he was. Come here. Come back. Thank you. Because of the Prismarine, we've also managed to get the attack bonus up on this to about 12, which is not too terribly bad. It's just kind of expensive to repair because it requires mana now to fix. And I cannot wait for a little bit of lava so I can start adding actual metal products to my Tinker's Tools, which I don't know whether or not we're ever going to get to that point. But there's another thing you notice over here, and I'm working on a project that's an eventual project. And I really kind of want to touch on this and one more thing from Botania before we get into what we're going to do today. Notice there's an oak sapling right there. Where did he get an oak sapling, you ask? Where did he get a few other things? I've got dark oak saplings and spruce saplings and all that kind of stuff. Dotted around the world, and I go, anybody that watched the End Dragon episode noticed that there was a blue temple. And inside those blue temples are these little bitty chiseled living wood and oak leaf trees. They're handmade sculptures, and you notice I pretty well destroyed this one, and I left this one here specifically for the fact so I could remind myself that these things exist. In those temples, there is a tree that contains enough chiseled and leaf bits to make about half of one of these, or a half of a leaf block. So I've actually got a little bit of stuff in here. We can grab this chisel bit thingy here. So this, you need about, I forget what it is. You need about a double chest full of the leaf blocks in order to make, or leaf bits in order to make a leaf block. And you go, okay, well, now you're just being silly. And you are correct. I'm being very silly at this point. So what I did is I happened to be wandering around and have been actually collecting those leaf bits and tree blocks for quite a while. I finally got enough, and that's why this leaf block is here, so that I could craft another leaf block or a total leaf block. So if I go in here and I go, no, I don't need to do that. I need to, it's alt. I never use chisels and bits because chisels and bits is a horrendously nasty mod. But if you do this all the way down to the end, and you look inside your bit bag, you're going to have a whole lot of chiseled oak leaves. Now, whether this is an outside or a bad site or a silly site, but I've used this before and I will continue to use it again so long as people keep using chisels and bits in mod packs like this. If I take enough stuff and I use drawn region and I park it right there and hold the block down until I have a full block, I have a leaf block. This is a leaf block that is functional. Because we have Britannia, I can do this. Because anybody would be stupid to try to, you know, break a single leaf block, right? We have Britannia. We have that conjuration catalyst. I can make all the leaf blocks I want. Eventually, breaking them and placing them, you will get the sapling eventually, guaranteed, no matter what. It's not doing it right now, but you can just sit here and do this until you get the sapling, and then you can plant the sapling, and then you can do the thing. Why did I do all that? Because I want that sapling and that sapling. I can't live my life without those two trees. It's just the way it works. Plus, it allows you to do a few things. That's another way of getting apples, even though we get apples from those things. And for what it's worth, oaks trees and those kinds of trees are easier to automate with some of the later on technologies that we're going to get, like Ender.io, which we're going to be getting Ender.io farms eventually. I don't know exactly how long down the line that's going to be, but it's going to be sometime after Pneumatic Craft and sometime after the Nether. So I don't mind it. It's just, it's a little too purple around here for me. I like purple. Purple's okay. The pink blocks, they're fine. I need this. I really, you know, at times just need that chocolate color. Now, granted, the wisdom logs are really, or wisdom wood is really nice, but the wisdom logs are kind of not really cool. So yes, if you're looking for one of those things and you're out wandering around, yeah, I know it took a while. It took quite a bit of time to get that done, but it did work. So there's a couple of more things. Again, we're almost done here. I guess we'll go with this next little dude here since I've got it in my hand. There are two things that we're going to be doing probably for sure. One of the things that I've actually already been doing, and I've made quite a bit of it, is, let's see, I've already made a reasonable amount of dirt. These little living wood avatars from Britannia. This is one of those things I always kind of tend to never use, but they are totally capable of doing a few things for you. So let's see if I can find him without having a problem. He should be natural apparati, I think. I think it's this one. Living Wood Avatar. Living Wood Avatars are basically Britannia's way of doing an automated user for specific things. So rods are mainly what it's meant to be used with. So certain rods, it can do certain things. So if I say I wanted to make dirt, I give him my rod of the lands. He holds it. Notice how his texture changes a little bit. If I do this and I take that mana spreader and I point it at him, he's going to place dirt for me automatically, and because I have a mechanical miner, the miner's going to pick it up and put dirt in the system. It requires mana from a mana spreader to do the work, but it will just do the work. So if I do this, we can put him over here. He'll run out of mana eventually and stop working. So that's how I made a bit of mana. Why is that so important? Well, it says right here, I think it's Rod of the Hells. Rod of the Hells, and Rod of the Skies for that matter. I thought this really cracked me up because I was like, why would I care about whether or not he can use the Rod of the Skies? Give me that. Rod of the Skies. Let me show you. It's an automatic elevator. And it has a pretty reasonable distance. And because I have boots on, it won't hurt me. Oh, I'm going to have to get close to him so he quits throwing me around. Really handy kind of a thing. So you just give them a little bit of mana and they do a little bit of work. So I had him make me quite a bit of things. So it's the Rod of the Hells, Rod of the Hells, Rod of the Hells. If we can get to that point, come here, dingy. Let's get out of here and go back to natural, what is it? That mystical items. I think it's this one. Rod of the Hells. Rod of the Hells is an interesting thing because basically the ring has a Rod of the Hells. Burns anything inside of it at a decent cost of mana. Circle of Fire that burns anything inside of it for a decent cost of mana, which means you can set things on fire with that thing in and around where it is. Or I can light portals. I might even use him for this because he probably would just sit there and automatically light this without this process. I don't have to test that. We may test that later on. He will also use the Rod of the Depths, I think, Rod of the Lands, Rod of the Molten Core. One of these other rods he can use to whichever one that puts the cobblestone down. He'll do the exact same thing we're doing here. He will also do the same thing with the Rod of the Seas, the water one. So it'll continuously put down water. As long as you can figure out a way to pick it up, you can continuously produce a specific type of small, early game kind of material like cobble, water, or dirt. So yay. Why am I making dirt? Well, we'll talk about the dirt in a little bit. I think at this point I can put a few things away. We can put that away. We got a couple other things going on. How are you doing on food since we've been sitting here? What is the noise? Oh, we're out of stuff, aren't we? Okay. Yeah, that's the only problem is once it hits that point, they're hungry. They don't want to eat anymore. This is the point where we have used up all of the food that it likes. So now it's just going to sit there and tick and make noise, which I'm going to have to do something about. But I'm going to go ahead and give them each a potato just to make them happy again. 1 and 2. In that amount of time, we've talked through the amount of stuff that they've done. So we've got a pretty reasonable amount of mana going now. I've got 3 full pools and a few other things. Okay, cool. So let's go look at the other thing that I'm going to do, and I can get rid of you now. I think actually I need to do this. Goodbye. You've been useful, very useful. Goodbye. Get out of my life. I know I didn't have to do that, but I'm glad I got all that stuff. Because of the fact that saplings exist like that, there's another reason is these. Cocoa beans. Cocoa beans, once you get of course, a jungle sapling, you can grow cocoa beans. You can grow cocoa beans with the regular old bonsai pot, or you can grow them like this. Why would I want cocoa beans? Well, cookies. Cookies. Well, yeah, okay, cookies. Cookies are terrible. Cookies are not terrible if you put a little bit of mana on them. Biscuits of Totality are probably the second best food in the game, which is why I have a few of them, but that's okay. Cool. All right, we've talked and BS'd around a little bit. Let's go do one more thing, and then we'll see what we can do about moving forward. Like I said, we're making things different. We're going to be changing a few things, and I'm starting on a project. This project is going to be main base. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that I've been busy having a good time. We've already got a couple of floors built. We're going to be building a few more little deals, and I'm going to try to figure out what I want to do for the walls, plus this nice big central piece. So just wanted to kind of step in and say, yes, he's building another monstrosity of a base. It's not going to be massively silly, but it's going to be big enough that we should be able to put a few of the things in it. I'm going with this kind of a rectangular, squarish pattern kind of thing. It's not exactly square in every corner because of the fact that I built it kind of on odds, and I'm going to build it on odds this time for a reason. We just need to be able to make a few things. So we've got a little bit of scaffolding, a little bit of structure, and a little bit of things going on. Not even remotely done, just letting you know we got it. So let's go back to the main base. And after all of that talking, and everybody's probably bored with me and going, why in the heck is he still talking? So let's go do something next on down the line. In order for us to get to the Nether, we need to start focusing on this little line here. So a glitch in the system, we need to craft a glitch Obsidian. Well, glitched obsidian shouldn't be too terribly hard because we need to be able to make glitched ingots. So glitched ingots are taking corrupted glitched hearts, if I recall correctly, and smashing them against some obsidian. Now, I don't remember how much this is going to make. Probably do that again. That's going to be a really lot, and way more than we're going to need, kind of thing. So, and what else am I going to need? Lapis, I believe is what we need. In order to get the cool stuff, normally with this mod that you would normally be using to have fun with, you have to do a lot of killing of glitched things, or the little system glitches, the little system critters. I don't know if we caught that or not, but the crafting of the actual glitched ingots is a little kind of meh kind of deal. You know what I mean? You take these and you smack them against a piece of obsidian, and you should get a few of the unstable glitched fragments. Now, you're only ever going to really need, let me see, you're only ever going to really need enough glitched ingots to make the infused helmets, the armor, and the sword. You're only ever going to really need that much because you're only ever going to really do anything. Now, because of the way this pack has been formulated, we're going to get a different reaction. So in order to get an unstable this better, in order to be able to use this, we need to do this and this and that. And then it spits the ingots out all over the place. Did we get them all? Most of them? All right, so I need to do the rest of that. And that'll be probably way more glitched infused ingots than we'll ever need. Are we done? Did we get them all? No. What are you doing? My magnet keeps peeling it out. Here, stop. Finish the job. There we go. Now we should be good. Give me my bucket of water back. And this. Cool. And that just took a little bit of grinding. That's all that took, was just grinding out all of the work that it took in order to be able to get somewhere, do all the fun stuff, everything like that. I need to put you away now that my inventory is massively full of stuff. And I do think I'm probably going to have to craft something. That's great. Wonderful. Okay, let's go talk about the next process. So in order to make glitched obsidian, in order to be getting into the nether, we need a bunch of obsidian purple blocks underneath the terrestrial agglomeration plate. So purple block, how many obsidians do we have? We have plenty. Bonk. Ow. Oh, that's another thing I should say that I did. I kind of ground out as much food as I possibly could to get as many hearts as I can. So I think we're at a point now where we're out of food to eat. So that was fun. So we need to do something like this. I think. Yes. I'm going to need a few more pieces of obsidian. We'll go ahead and do that then. Let's see. And it says we also need to do what? Purple blocks. Purple block, purple block, purple block, purple block. And I am going to shut the ticking off because I'm tired of the ticking already. Get back to work. Thank you. We need a little bit more obsidian. And hopefully I have enough stored up mana to do this at this point. Let's see. I don't want to lose these. I don't want to lose those. So we only need... Put you away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need a couple of more pieces of obsidian. I know I got a whole bunch of obsidian. Need 10 pieces of that. And let's see how this works. Let's move some stuff off of our bar so we can see and unhook the magnet so it doesn't screw things up. 1, 2. Wow, that was cool. Hey, no, pick it up. That was fast. That. Love it. That probably won't work. It's probably one of those things. The only problem with this crafting system is you can't have more than one of the recipe in the thing. So there. And there. And there. And there. All of the craftings of all of the things. Dang it. I just wasted it. Back up. We're getting a little low on stuff. Let's see. How are we doing? We're not low. Why is it so slow? That's the other beauty of having lots of multiple mana pools with sparks on them, is that this crafting goes very quickly. So the more sparks and the more pools you can feed from with these plates, the faster this thing feeds. All right, so we need to do one more thing, which I don't think we have. Yeah, I used them all up and I needed to use another one. So let's go ahead really quickly. We need to craft a fire rune. Fire runes are going to be a firewood, gunpowder, and some of that stuff. So we'll go grab some of this really quickly. How about we empty inventory for the second? Holy cow, look at the mess. Put those, no, I need that. I need that. Why am I carrying an ender pearl around? Do I not have any fire runes around at all? No, I don't think so. We need one of those. Oh yeah, and I got some spider eyes too from those witches. One of those, and one of these, and that. This, that I don't need. You can go in there, here. Holy moly, at the mess that is my inventory. Can you put some of this away for just a second? Building gadget, rod of the lands, that can go away. Don't need you, don't need you, don't need you, don't need you. You can go away too, you can go away. We're gonna hang on to you, you can go away. Cool. All right. What did the gunpowder go to? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a bottle of that. Okay. Because once we build the portal, it's going to want us to light it. And it says right in the tooltip, you need a rune of fire to do so. So let's go ahead and craft one of these very quickly. Along with that. That. Done. Cool. And since we're going to be moving, hopefully very soon, we're going to build this over here. Where do we want to put it? And yeah, we're going to be using travel anchors for all of the wonderful fun stuff that exists in this pack. So I think what I want to do is this should be facing towards the end island. I think we're going to use this corner then for our portals. Alrighty, this really should only require a couple of things, so I'm going to be cheap about it. It's going to be off center because it's even. Oh, crap. Thank you. And I really need to learn to do this a little better. Put your magnet back on. Cool. And Rune of Fire, go. So enter the Nether, enter the Nether. This is going to be one of those things we're going to have to be really careful right off the bat. And I may actually have a little bit of fun with this before we do any building. The Nether is a void Nether, just for you guys that don't know. So we're going to stick our heads in. And try not to die. And just put something down so we can see what's going on. Cool. All right, we're in the Nether. Now, here's the fun part about the Nether. Again, everything around here, everything, the overworld, the Nether, the only thing left is the end. So we're going to have to start rebuilding this area, this biome, which is the reasoning why we're going to start talking about some of this. In order to end this chapter, we have to obtain a piece of netherrack, which is going to mean we're going to have to build the terrain scanner, which means we're going to have to divide by 0. I'm not looking forward to it, but we're going to be doing that in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.